So today is Friday, April 2024, and the first YouTube video I filmed and published of the day was about a man named Liam Bell. And so we've come full circle in the namespace Bell. I'm ending this day with a movie notes video on the movie Joe Bell. So not quite, I don't actually know if they're like long lost cousins of each other or something, you know, a long time ago. It's like it's the same Bell. I genuinely don't know. I don't know, and I'm not gonna make a guess. So this is about movie notes on Joe Bell. It's a 2020 film. This is my 5 April 2024 viewing. And let's see, this is the description I came up with when viewing is a biographical film about a father walking across the United States of America, starting in Grande, Oregon, in remembrance / honor of his son who killed himself following harassment because of his sexual orientation that the school system took zero efforts to stop, including after it was formally reported. Yes, so it's based on real peoples. The father, Joe Bell, the son, Jaden Bell, and they lived in Oregon, which is neighbor state to the south. I live in Washington state, so Oregon is that way. And so, yes, the guy, the son, who was introduced him at 15 years of age, so a teenage son, killed himself. That he was Oregonian. So I'm a Washingtonian. These are the terms we use that here. And so I'm gonna take it and watch it on this computer. I'm taking it out. Here's the disc. I rented it from the King County Library System, and I put it on hold and then picked it up in the library. And this is the Snoke. SNOQ stands for Snoqualmie Library. Yeah, that's right. There's like a part of the highway that you have to like go through Snohomish County to get to Snoqualmie, or like I've gotten there. So it's like the county line is kind of it's not like a straight line, so it's actually in King County, even though Snoqualmie kind of sounds more like Snohomish. And so essentially this guy's being harassed and bullied at school, and it gets really bad, and it is formally reported, and the family takes efforts. They contact other schools, can we like get him out of the school, and they even see the principal, who tells him like this son in front of the parents, at least as portrayed in the movie, that, you know, you don't want to make a mistake. Kind of and the problem is always the son in the family. And that character is, what was it? So the mom's name is Lola, I think. And then the woman who just kind of is formally reported and makes zero efforts other than you're the problem. That character, or that real person, I guess, name was Swift, Mrs. Swift. And yeah, and so in viewing this, do I have any takeaways? I'm going to make a bold guess. So here's one. I'm going to make a bold guess that my dad loves me as much as Joe Bell loved Jaden Bell. I am asexual. I am not homosexual, so the son is homosexual. I'm asexual, which is part of the non-heterosexual spectrum. If you can think of it as like heterosexuals and then everybody else. And what is it? Heterosexual are 85% of society, and the other 15% is everybody else. Nothing. So I'm part of that other party people. Yeah. We have a good time on the bottom. Okay. Or at least try to, and then harassment happens. And so essentially the father sets out on this walk from the west coast to the east coast, and so it's about that journey. And how it kind of ended. And so, it ended, I'm not going to spoil it if you haven't seen it. It ended prematurely in Colorado. So he made it all the way to Colorado before well, that's when it ended, I think. So from Oregon to Colorado. And so that's one takeaway. Do I have any other takeaways? Yeah, so I was actually reading about this case in the past 4 to 8 years maybe, where they had started prosecuting murder on something called induced suicide. And I read about this one case where this boyfriend and this girlfriend, the boyfriend was driving a car and was texting the girlfriend, and he was like, I'm gonna kill myself, and yada yada yada, and the girlfriend said, do it. And so he killed himself. And she was put on trial for murder, but I think it was induced suicide, and found guilty. And so it's a relatively, per what I've encountered, it's a relatively new / baby prosecution for murder, induced suicide. And so essentially induced suicide is where somebody harasses somebody or discriminates against somebody in an attempt to get them to kill themselves, like that woman did. It's very much a she crime, right? Like along with poisoning, just get the other person to do it for them. So harassment does actually, well, that case in point actually got found guilty of murder. Harassment can be murder, right? If the person commits suicide, and that's the kind of suicide where it's the person kills themselves, but it's at they were not the cause of their death. Technically, the murderer was the people who harassed them. So in my video description, I did not use the term committed suicide because I believe that the people who harassed Jade and Belle should be put on trial for their actions. However, because it is a relatively baby thing, like prosecution of murder and or attempted murder via harassment, right? So if somebody does something harassing them, knowing that it might cause them negative mental health, and knowing that they've been suicidal or something like that, it can be attempted suicide if the person is still alive, or suicide, like murder. So attempted murder or murder, right? Via harassment. And so, yeah, I would like to see the harassers. I would point out here, however, that does not necessarily mean the movie got it right. Right, and there's friends in this movie who kind of abandon him when he's at his most need. So I would say that there's a little bit of, perhaps, like, if that did happen, I would hope there's also an investigation. Right? The person killed themselves because they did not have anybody they felt they could talk to. Right. So even if the movie portrays, female cheerleaders as friends, those female cheerleaders themselves might have been harassing in a different way that, like, oh, you should cut your hair, or you should get extensions, or get certain pedicure or manicure or stuff. And right, he's like, well, maybe I don't want that haircut. Right. Because right. So while there might have been a group of guys that were harassing him, the fact is he did kill himself. So even the people who are portrayed, like, because he was a male cheerleader, doesn't mean the female cheerleaders were friends, even though the movie portrays them as friends. So I'd be cautious on just jumping on the people that the movie villainizes, right? And look at the entire friendship circle, just because there's different forms of propagating harassment, right? Like, somebody might harass me about, oh, when are you gonna grow your hair out, because they want to see me with long hair, which is a form of harassment. And like, if they know that kind of stuff makes me mentally unstable and might lead me down to a negative mental health hole, and they don't stop, then that's harassment, potentially with intent to harm, right? Why can't they just accept my hair for what it is, and me for who I am? That kind of thing. So yeah, that's my second takeaway is, we can hope someday the legal system will progress far enough that the people who harassed Jade and Belle, and the people like Mrs. Swift who did not act and did nothing, made zero effort to stop it, do actually get tried for at least for murder, and at least attempted murder via induced suicide. I hope Right? That's why I'm not calling it that, is I'm like, well, it's why we can at least hope that the legal system's got a bunch of issues. Like, push this forward with all of that as well. Kind of thing. And then, do I have anything else? Yes, Jaden Bell. If you, and Joe Bell, wherever you may be, if you can, if you want good news from this side, this little asexual woman has found a Hugh Lemur that she loves. I found a Hugh Lemur that I love and I'd love to marry and live with and have 25 baby suppos running around the house with. That's okay, really what he wants. But I fell in love with him, a Hugh Lemur, and maybe you have taught me to not lose hope, that maybe he loves me for being my asexual me, and he won't try and change me. Maybe he'll love me for who I am. So thank you for existing. That's my third takeaway. Don't forget to say thank you for these people who existed, the real ones. So there we go. Those are my movie notes on Joe Bell 2020 film, 5 April 2024 viewing. And who am I? I'm Tanis Leonhardi, she, her, hers of Seattle, and thank you for joining me.